guys, my name is Cassidy and you're watching That Spooky Lifestyle, where we bring the ooky, the spooky, the creepy and the crawly into our everyday lives. Today I'm super excited. We're going to be talking about the Yule Lads and Yule Cat. I kind of stumbled upon this story accidentally and I thought it was super fun and super interesting and perfect for the holiday season. So today we're going to be doing our makeup and getting into some Icelandic folklore. I do have a quick disclaimer before we get started. I'm Canadian, I only speak English, so I'm going to try my best with name pronouncing and making sure I'm getting all the facts straight. If I get something wrong, do not hesitate to let me know down below. Yeah, I'm just out here trying my best is all I gotta say. I'm probably the least qualified person to talk about this, but here we are. Let's just jump right into it, guys. Okay, so if you've seen any of my other kind of storytelling makeup videos, you know that I start off by talking about what I already know about the subject, and today is going to be quite easy because I know absolutely nothing. Before I started researching, I knew nothing. I knew about Yule, so Yule can be interchanged with Christmas, like Christmas Day or just the Christmas season. So I knew about that, but I had no idea about the Yule Lads and the Yule Cat. And I first stumbled across the Yule Cat and I was like, okay, this cat is kind of cool, this is crazy. And then I found the Yule Lads and I'm like, oh my god, this is hilarious. I love this. I need to share this story. So according to Icelandic folklore, there are mountain-dwelling creatures that come down during the Yule season or Christmas season. And these creatures roam the countryside looking for like bad-mannered or ill-tempered children to eat. Because, like, you know, I've heard from many an evil creature that bad kids just taste better than good ones. The first of these monsters is Grwm, who is, I don't know, in some articles they said she was a giantess, in others they said she was a troll, which in Canada those are kind of two different things but kind of similar at the same time, so. And yeah, she is the one who basically terrorizes villages that are close to her mountain or where she lives. And yeah, she basically roams the streets on cold winter nights looking for bad children to kidnap, take home, and eat for dinner. Along with Grwm, she does have a husband. We're gonna have to go to pronounce.com, girl. She's got her back.
Lepaludi.
Lepaludi. Lepaludi? Is that close? If it's close, that's a win. So along with Grwm, there's her husband, Lepaludi. And he is kind of like lazy, doesn't leave his mountain cave. Like, they don't really talk about him much. They're just like, yeah, he doesn't really help out around the home. He just kind of sits around and is a big useless twat, so. However, these two do have 13 kids together and they are called the Yule Lads. And then they do have a house pet, which is the Yule Cat. So as you can see, it's just one big ol' happy family. Today I'm not going to go into Grwm and her whole backstory because Lepaludi is actually her third husband, so she kind of has her own folklore and backlore. Backlore? What's a backlore? You know when you're just out here making up words, girl? Yeah, so she's got her own kind of legend and myth going on. I'm not going to get into her today. We're going to specifically focus on the Yule Lads and the Yule Cat because I just think they're really cool. And I think it's super fun, and yeah. In Iceland, they don't actually have a Santa Claus. That's more of a Western North American fairy tale. Iceland has these Yule Lads. Again, this is what I've read online, so never fully trust the internet. If that is incorrect, please let me know. But from what I understand, these 13 Yule Lads are like Iceland's version of Santa Claus, kind of. It would be the best thing you could compare it to, I think. Originally, there were 82 Yule Lads. Damn. I don't know if those were all Grwms and Lepaludis. Like, I'm not sure, but in the 1860s they do narrow it down just to 13. And I read a couple different articles. Some said that it's because of this poem that highlighted only 13 of them and those became really popular, which is why there's only 13. And then I read a different article that said it was because in the 1860s they were standardizing the Yule Lads, and I'm not really sure what that means. The article didn't explain it real great. I don't know if maybe the 82 different Yule Lads were from a bunch of different like regions or kind of cultures, and so they merged them together, just have 13. Like, I don't really know. However, the point is that there used to be 82. Now there's 13. So these 13 Yule Lads are actually pranksters. They're quite mischievous, and each of them is named after like their favorite way to harass or prank someone, which is kind of fun. Think of yourself and like all your friends and like how you like to annoy them. Like, what would your Yule Lad name be? I'm gonna have to think on mine. I'll let you know what mine is at the end of the video. As you can imagine, these Yule Lads actually used to be quite malevolent. Like, they used to be depicted as being really evil and like, not really demonic, but sort of like that sort of level, like really bad. They're not nice at all. It's not funny, like their pranks. Like, they're like, you know, kill you and laugh about it kind of folk. But in the 18th and 19th century, they did kind of turn into more lovable pranksters rather than these really evil creatures. And I did read an article that suggested maybe it was because Santa Claus was becoming so popular and because he's such a lovable character that these Yule Lads kind of morphed into lovable characters. But I also read that in the 18th and 19th century, it was just banned for people to scare their children with these stories, because it was kind of a way, obviously, to keep kids in line, making sure they're working hard, not being little shits. So each of these Yule Lads comes to town one by one the 13 nights before Christmas. Children leave their shoes by the windowsill, and if they've been good, they'll get a little gift, and if they've been bad, they get a potato in their shoe. Which, I don't know how you guys feel about this, but like, potatoes are delicious. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, cooked right, a potato will fuck you up, because it's like, they can be really good. I'm just saying, it kind of seems like a win-win scenario for me, but I digress. So like I said, these Yule Lads are kind of the Santa Claus version for Iceland, and a lot of people think that the Yule Lads are like the best part of this Yule season. Okay, you guys, let's get into each of the Yule Lads, what their names are, and how they like to harass people. I will just be doing the English version of their kind of name description, just because for me to have to try and butcher and translate their actual names would take forever, and also it would just be offensive to everyone watching. So we are just going to be talking about their English version of their names. The first Yule Lad is Sheepcoat Claude, and he likes to harass sheep. Wait a minute, there's a twist. He's got 2 peg legs. So I don't know. Like, that leads into a number of follow-up questions that I now have. And he comes the night before the 12th, and then they just kind of keep going until the 25th. And it's just like, I have so many questions. Like, why does he have 2 peg legs? Do you know what I mean? Like, did he harass a wolf in sheep's clothing at one point? And maybe that's why he doesn't like sheep, because one of them ate his legs, you know what I'm saying? Was he a pirate in a past life? Like, what's going on with them peg legs, girl? And obviously, because they are like older folklore that's been around for a while, the harassment is kind of all older, how do I say that? Like, older themed day-to-day issues. Like, there's not a Yule Lad named like, I'm gonna mess up your car. Like, you know what I mean? It's all about kind of sheep and farming and like your everyday life kind of thing. The second Yule Lad is Gullygawk, and he hides in gullies until the coast is clear, and he can go into the cowshed and steal some milk. Now, a gully in Canada, at least where I grew up, is kind of like a ravine. Yeah, so it's like he's basically hiding in a little ravine waiting for the coast to be clear, and then he's gonna go and grab some milk, which, like, milk is delicious, so I totally get that as well. The third Yule Lad is literally Stubby. Like, that's his name. That's the translation of his name, and he's basically super abnormally short, and he steals pans to eat. It says eat the crust off them. Why is there crusty stuff on your pans? Like, or maybe it's if, you know, they're going to be washed and they're just like waiting in the sink or something. Maybe that's where he steals them. It just, again, it invites more questions that I have. And he comes the night before the 14th. So Gully comes the night before the 13th, Stubby the night before the 14th. And as you can see, it's a pattern. The fourth Yule Lad is again, straight translation is spoon licker. This Yule Lad is super skinny due to malnutrition, and he goes around stealing spoons to lick them. Which honestly, again, like, who doesn't want to do that? Especially if it's baking that's just absolutely delicious. How do you say no? The 5th Yule Lad is pot scraper, and he basically steals your pots to scrape any leftover food from them. Again, just little tricksters in the kitchen. Basically kids in the kitchen, honestly. Like, who doesn't want to eat the leftovers of delicious cooking? The next Yule Lad is bowl licker, and he basically waits for people to put, it's like a bowl but with a lid on it, used instead of plates. I'm not sure if we have those really in Canada. I'm trying to think. Like, we have stuff like that you would bake with, or maybe like if you put a casserole in it, maybe that's kind of what they're thinking. It's like a pot with like a glass lid kind of thing. I bet that's what it is. It's called an asker. So this Yule Lad waits for people to put that under their bed, and then he steals it and eats it. Now, I'm not sure why people are putting it under their bed. I'm assuming that's another tradition that people do around Christmas. I bet it's not like an everyday thing. So the 7th Yule Lad that comes before the night of the 18th is door slammer. And he basically does exactly what you think he does. He goes around slamming a bunch of doors. That's like unconsciously me. I don't know why, but like whenever I close like a car door or something, I always kind of slam it because I just want to make sure that it's closed. I don't know why in my brain that's acceptable behavior, but sometimes I do that, and my boyfriend calls me out on my bullshit all the time. The 8th Yule Lad is Skyr Gobbler, and basically he just really loves Skyr, which is yogurt. Do you remember those like Activia commercials? I don't know if they have them where you're from, but it was like, I think it was Activia, and they'd be like eating the yogurt, and there'd be like a piece of their tummy cut out that was like a girl who was doing the hula, but it was just the hula tummy, so it looked like your tummy was like, yeah, I don't know. Anyways, the next Yule Lad is the sausage swiper, and you guessed it, he is out here stealing all those delicious sausages. So I really gotta concentrate when I'm doing a cut crease, or it's gonna turn out all sorts of crazy. The next Yule Lad is called window peeper. Not real sure how I feel about that one. He looks through windows to see stuff to steal, but I mean, it is a pretty creepy name to give somebody. It leaves one to imagine maybe he's a pervert. Like, that's all I'm trying to say. 11th Yule Lad is doorway sniffer, and he uses his extremely large nose to sniff out bread, basically. The 12th Yule Lad is meat hook, and he uses this extremely big hook to steal meat. So, and last but not least is candle stealer, and he follows kids around to steal their candles, which used to be made out of like fat, so you could technically eat them, but they're made out of like beeswax and stuff now, so probably not the best idea. So now that we've gotten to know each of these fine individuals, basically some people think that these Yule Lads even may have started because of homeless people, like breaking into people's houses and stealing bits and pieces of food to eat so that they could survive in the cold winter. I didn't see that on a lot of websites. I just saw that on like a couple, and I thought that's kind of like an interesting fact. Like, okay. What I am curious about though is if each of the presents that the Yule Lads gives like corresponds to kind of like their gift. I didn't really see anything. No one really talks about the kinds of presents they give. When a child is good, it just says that they give a present, but does it have something to do with like their type of prank? Do you know what I mean? Like, does the spoon licker give, you know, a recipe or a wooden spoon or something? Do you know what I mean? Or is it just completely irrelevant and they just give whatever gift they want? So the exact origin of the Yule Lads kind of varies, again, depending on what website you look at, what you're reading. Some people say that they're creatures that live among us and you can only see them during the Christmas season. Then there's another story that says they're actually all children of Eve, and she hid them from God, and when God found them, he made them all invisible until the Christmas season. And then some even say that the Yule Lads are fallen angels. So we have a lot going on here. Could be homeless people, could be angels, could be children of Eve, could just be magical creatures that are invisible, you know? There's a lot of options. So that is basically wrapping up what I have to talk about the Yule Lads. Now let's get into the Yule Cat, because the cat is actually the first creature that I found and I was like, oh my god, I love this. And then I stumbled across the Yule Lads and I was like, ah yes, we are making a video. So the Yule Cat, again, I have absolutely no idea, or had no idea about it before I started researching. But like I said previously, it is the house pet of Grwm, Lepaludi, and the 13 Yule Lads. Just a casual little house pet, but it is big. Like, this is a big, black, mean cat. And like, it's huge. Like, it towers over buildings. It reminds me of Clifford the Big Red Dog, if any of you have ever watched that show or seen it or heard of it. It's basically like this giant pet dog, but Clifford is really nice and this cat not so much. Basically, this cat eats anyone who hasn't got new clothes for Christmas, or by Christmas to be fair. And this bad guy straight up like walks around town peering in windows looking to see if kids have new clothes as a gift. It's said that the Yule Cat was probably created in the Dark Ages, but the first written account was in the 19th century. The Yule Cat and the Yule Lads kind of give a very like Krampus feel. They're there to ensure that kids act accordingly, are in good behavior, are helping out, doing the chores, things like that. According to Icelandic traditions, the reason this Yule Cat is looking for new clothes is because any kids who finished their chores before Christmas would get new clothes as a gift to, you know, say thank you, and again, just helping them stay in line, to helping out the family, making sure they're getting their ish done on time. Especially like back in the day, you have to think like when winter is coming, it was way bigger, it was like a way bigger deal than it is now. Like, you know, people died because it would be so cold. Like, you really had to, it really mattered if you got your shit done on time before, you know, good old Mother Nature came strolling in. So this kind of enforced that any lazy children who didn't get their chores done, they would have to face the Yule Cat. And he, I'm assuming it's a he, is not a very nice creature. The article I read specifically said new socks, like that was the type of new clothing you had to get. So I'm not real sure, like in other articles just said new clothing, so I'm not sure if it specifically is just socks you had to get, or if it was like, you know, if you got a new cardigan, does that also count? Or yes, no, maybe? Could you imagine if like you knew the Yule Cat would eat your kid if you didn't give them new socks and you just got them a new sweater? Like, oh, sorry, Timmy. If the Yule Cat peers in your window and it sees that you have a pair of new socks or a new scarf or whatever, it will just kind of move on to the next house and you won't get eaten, because that's what this kitty cat likes to do. It will, it's funny because the article literally said it will eat your dinner and then eat you. And when I first read that, I thought it said that the Yule Cat just eats you, and I was like, oh yeah, that makes sense. And then I read that it eats your dinner too, like before it eats you, and I'm like, that's just, it's just adding insult to injury, you know what I mean? I'm gonna eat all your supper, and then I'm gonna eat you. If I was a Yule Lad myself, I'm not sure what I would be. I'd maybe be like jump scare or something. I love when like you can hear someone walking up the stairs and you jump out at them to scare them. I love doing that. I love, yeah, jumping out at people and just being silly and funny when they're doing it. And yeah, I'd probably be like some sort of like jump scare Yule Lad, because I love pranking people like that. It's like that little bit of like, oh, God damn it, why would you do that? You know, like that's, I love that. I think that's super funny. So that's probably the Yule Lad I would be. Let me know what kind of Yule Lad you would be down below. Listen, I'm really bad at guesstimating how much information I have to talk about versus how much makeup I'm gonna do. So this is what we're working with today. Normally I would put a lash on, but like, I can't find any, so this is as good as it's getting right now. I hope you guys enjoyed that. That is the story, kind of the rough outline of the Yule Lads and the Yule Cat. I hope you learned something. I hope you found it interesting. If you're into kind of mythical, cryptid, creature, stuff like this, definitely subscribe. I've done a bunch of these. I've done Baba Yaga. I've done the origin of Halloween. I've done the Salem witch trials. Definitely go check those videos out if you haven't seen them already. If you're looking for more spooky content like Instagram shops to follow, witchy inspiration, definitely check out my blog, thatspookylifestyle.com, or follow me on Instagram at thatspookylifestyle. It's the same on Facebook. You can check it out. I update stuff there, post fun pictures, all of that good stuff. Yeah, if you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video.